bless Shanuki, Lord, and may she be calm and may her words come through, that we all enjoy what she's talking to us about. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
How are you all today? Good, good. It's nice to be here after so long, because I've been doing just the 8:30 for the last few weeks, the last few times I've done this, so it's nice to be back here. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. Have you ever had that feeling of being unsettled about something, where nothing you do is really different from what you've been doing in the past, but there's something that's just not quite right? And it's a feeling that nags and nags, and you can't seem to shake it. Have you ever felt that, of being just off in your life? That's been me for the last few weeks, and it all came to a big head when preparing for this talk last week. If we were to look at ourselves as individuals, as people, and ask, who am I? There's a few possible categories that the things that make us who we are can fall into. Like, if there's things that everyone knows about us, they're like the obvious stuff, like what you do, or where you're from maybe, or even things you like to do might be pretty obvious to other people. The second one is that there's things that no one knows about us except us. And then there's also things that other people know about us that we don't. A core part of who I am is if someone I cared about said, hey, I actually really need your help, 99% of the time I would drop whatever it is I'm doing and help them almost immediately. I would go out of my way for my family and my friends. All they need to do is ask. So when one of my best friends asked for my help a few times, to de-stress and to get things off her chest, I said yes, and I said I would be there, and I did, because I believed that it would help her. And so a few weeks ago, the same friend turned around and she said, actually, you being around makes me feel worse, and I don't want you to be around anymore. And I felt like I had been punched in the gut. It took me completely by surprise, because it came out of nowhere. It was something that I thought I was doing that was good, that apparently wasn't. And I had that feeling, that knot that you get in your stomach that you can't get rid of. I couldn't shake it. I've always been a person that follows my instincts with people and how to address things. But this time, what I thought helped her actually didn't. And even though I shook the feeling, the knot disappeared, I still felt unsettled. When you think about the word vulnerable, what comes to mind? Do you think of a baby? Or a child? Do you think of like trafficked women? Do you think of an animal that's cornered? We tend to think of people and things or beings in dire situations when we think of the word vulnerable. Things that are exposed to danger, things that are helpless. Did it come to mind that maybe you are? Are you vulnerable? We all like to think we're not. In fact, we actually don't like thinking about it at all. It's one of those things in the back of our minds that we refuse to acknowledge, because it's a word that we associate with being helpless and needy and all the things that we aren't, because we can take care of ourselves, right? Until someone or something comes along and pulls the rug out from under us. Ben asked me a question when we were preparing for this talk. He asked me, who are you when it's just you and God? Through the last few weeks, because I felt unsettled, I felt really, really disconnected from God. I didn't understand why, and it frustrated me to the point of tears at one stage. I felt unsettled in my life, so I felt unsettled with Him. But a very, very good friend pointed out to me that God is never far away. You might feel far away from Him, but He's never far away from you. It took someone else saying things to me that I didn't know about myself to realise the question, who am I in Christ? Who are you in Christ? Take a minute, think about it, because in a second I'm going to ask you to find someone that you know pretty well. It could be a family or a friend. Maybe you've got someone in mind you can discuss in a second. You've got 2 minutes. Tell them something that they may not know about themselves. I'll set a timer. Wow, everyone's really quiet.
Microphone's not working very well. I normally get Shanuki Message.
It's also a joy to see you when
Maybe if I stay here.
it's nice to see you. Sort of good to know your story. You make me smile very easy. I hope
Yes.
it's dead if you wait some.
That's the timer. Right, that's the timer gone off. Sometimes it takes seeing ourselves through someone else's eyes to answer that question. Who am I in Christ? I am loved, not because of what I do, or what I offer the world, or what I offer the people around me. It is because of the place that it comes from. Because we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Sometimes it's easier for other people to see this, to see that place that it comes from, than it is for us. There's one other category I didn't mention earlier, and that is there's also the things that only God knows. He chooses to reveal these things to us at different stages along our walk with Him. He knows us. There's nothing we can hide from Him. The good, the bad, the ugly, the vulnerabilities, He knows them all. Now, the prospect of this could either scare you, or it could free you. So choose to be freed by it. Because it means His grace, His love for us, will never, ever fade. Nothing we do can change how He feels about us. It means that He walks with us through everything that we face. We are never ever alone because we have someone who loves us. There's nothing that we can do to change His love for us, but there's also nothing we can do to deserve His grace. But we have it anyway, through the ultimate act of love, Jesus. We are children of light. We have the light that we get from God within every single one of us. It's through our cracks and our imperfections and our vulnerabilities that that light shines through. It's our vulnerabilities that make us who we are. It's those that make us sensitive to the vulnerabilities of other people, to those around us, to support them on their journey with God. It's our vulnerabilities that make us act in ways of love and not indifference. The way that our Father in heaven acts towards us. So let's pray. Think of the part of you that you didn't know you had. This is your light. Hold that thought of being free in Christ. Being loved because you just are. Being loved because you are wonderfully made. His grace is enough. Thank you, Father, that you love us. Let your peace engulf everyone in this place today, with knowing in our hearts that you love us for all our cracks, for all our imperfections. Thank you for knowing us and loving us always.